do? What steps do we take? What can we do this week so that when we look in the mirror, we can say, okay, I see in the mirror looking back at me, I see a new creation. Okay, I see it in my relationship with God. I see it in my relationship with others. Okay, what can we do? All right. I want you to think this week about your relationship with God. Is it fresh? Is it stale? And I just want you to think about your relationship with God and reflect on the health of it as a person who's supposed to be a new creation. And I just want to encourage you, just give you 3 questions that you can sort of work through, okay? First question that I want you to work through this week as you consider your relationship with God is this: am I distracted? I don't know about you all, but I am very, very easily distracted. And it's easy for us to be that way, and we wind up getting into a relationship that we can ignore it to death because we get distracted. Have you ever texted that person? You know, you sent them a text, and it was a pleasant, polite text, and they didn't write you back. And you're like, well, that was kind of rude. And so you text them again, and they don't write you back. Days go by, and you're like, I'm giving them one more chance, right? And so you text them one more time, and they are just totally ghosting you, right? And so that's it. I'm done here, right? What's going on there? That person on the other end of that text is likely so deeply distracted, or you represent such an incredible distraction, okay? But there's a distraction at work, and that distraction just blows up the relationship, right? It's death by distraction. Oh, what about in your relationship with God? Are you so deeply distracted in your relationship with God that you are in effect ghosting Him? You're giving Him no time whatsoever. And so if you're new in your relationship with God, or if it's gotten stale and you're just candid enough with yourself to admit that, well, I'm going to be honest, I really don't give my relationship with God any time at all, then this week, why not just say, you know what, for 15 minutes this week, or each day rather this week, I'm going to set aside distractions. I'm going to focus on my relationship with God 15 minutes a day. So answer that question, am I distracted? Second question I would encourage you to ask is, am I discouraged? Man, sometimes I get really discouraged about my relationship with God because sometimes it's because I think He's non-responsive to me, right? I pray about something, I don't see anything that I want to happen. I forget what I talked about earlier, that there are plenty of times where God is at work on my character more than my circumstances, and I just want to see the circumstances change. So when I don't see that occur, it is discouraging to me. Other times, maybe my discouragement comes from somebody. If you are discouraged, and that's how you would define yourself right now, then I would say to you, why not ask God, God, how is it that you are working in this season of discouragement to develop me from the inside out? What are you doing to develop my character? And some of the very things that you find discouraging may well be intended by God to be used to solicit new growth in these really tough areas. And so ask yourself, am I discouraged? And then pray, God, help me to work through this in such a way that the outcomes in my life are consistent with where you have what you have for me. One more question about your relationship with God, and this one's a toughie. Am I dysfunctional? Am I dysfunctional? I would describe spiritual dysfunction as deviating from the life that God would have for me on purpose. That's dysfunction, okay? I've done it, you've done it. We've compromised what we know that God would say is right because we just think simply that we know better. And so just ask yourself, man, I don't sense that I am living the joy of being a new creation. What's going on? Well, just ask yourself, am I dysfunctional? Am I allowing something to exist and set up shop in my life that's totally contrary with where God would take me? And if that's the case, the Bible will call on us to repent, leave that behind, and move on from it.